I'm going to go to certain length. At 8:05 or so, we'll take our break, and then we will finish. This is the gist of the reason we are here. You learned all the foundation, the basis, etc., etc. It gives you some ambition that you will know more today at the end than anybody in the building in safety. Because you studied it one day earlier, I think. But the major issue is that at this time, now at least now you can look for it, right? There is not much. The blogosphere is dead. Hopefully you guys will start it, especially with Hassan's blog, advertising. And we will start the dialogue. My suggestion, if you have any question from now on, drop it in, let the dialogue begin. The main reason is this thing is very green. Not the green because it is green because it's raw. Right? So it is written exactly like a regular code. It has the administrative section, the definitions. Definitely, in one of the links I'm going to collect all the definitions and put it in there. I'm going to add all the definitions. If you ever get into a lawsuit, what is the first thing you do? Find out what was the language you spoke. Right? I got to tell you, about 2 years ago I was fixing this place. I fell down, I broke the tip of this hand, fell down, and I took medication, and I speak several languages. And what was funny was that I was taking medication, I was coming to work, and it was 2 in the afternoon. One architect comes and says, "Sam, English!" I was talking Persian to him for 2 hours. So just before you start speaking green, make sure you learn your English, right? The definition of the code on its own is different, so watch out. And by the way, I have it, if you type in Dr. Sam Noor, ANSI A117.1. Anybody knows what that standard is? American Disabilities Act. If you type that in, there will be a lot of my articles in there, right? There's a major discussion on some product. I'm not going to name it because I'm on camera. I have to be politically correct. I'm not Bill Maher. What happens is that what is happening is the entire discussion that I have against the other companies is a word, just one word, installation, right? If the word is not defined in code, where do you go? Where does code tell you can go to? Merriam-Webster Dictionary. You cannot go to American Heritage Dictionary. You cannot go to Cambridge Dictionary. You got to go to Merriam-Webster Dictionary. That's a reference. So watch out. Learn that from me. Always know your English. What dictionary you use. And I'm using that the entire debate on that is the word insulation. You know who I'm fighting. It's Jenny. But anyway, that's the definition. The concept of the building, a green building is there. Then it breaks down to the measures of the residentials, then to the non-residentials, then the referenced organizations. Why? Remember, it's another key element. Standards are embedded into the code as a primary reference. If there are ambiguities or green areas in the code section, do not discuss it and get that guy in front of you mad. Go back, learn the standards, and then go fight him. Then I will guarantee you win. By the way, the guarantee is 99.9%. If you do fail, don't call me. But that's where you go. That's where the codes are important. You pay, if you need the code, you go online, $35, you buy the code. You go from there. We had a major argument in a church in Aurora, Colorado. He bought the code, and it went on and on. At the end of the day, he says, "I don't like you. Do it this way." I said, "Okay." That was easy. But anyway, installer's specification, a special inspector's qualification. I don't have the time, but I have an entire exam of the inspectors and/or different tests that these individuals take. They show a small little bean and a giant watermelon. Says, "Which one is bigger?" That's the answer. You pass and you get your inspection. So the major issue is, I was very glad that actually the inspector has to be qualified. So if there is an argument, do I like you? Yes, why? Because you have done your homework. Here it is. So you can qualify one person. The other one is they actually put some examples for you, right? Especially for the water side. It's there. And when I email you, I'm emailing you the draft, which is free online. I did not send you the real one, right? So you will see there are worksheets and examples, etc. Now, what about the residential voluntary and versus non-residential voluntary? What is happening is, this is the best place to define it. Remember we said what? We have mandatory, then we have tier 1, and we have tier 2. On tier 1, they say, you got to do this many of the voluntary as well. Do 5 of them for me. It gives you the selection of which one you like to select. Okay? For tier 2, they say do 10 of them. So that's why I broke it down to voluntary. So really, if you're doing tier 1, you're doing A, B, C, D, you go to the voluntary measure, which are part of tier 1, tier 2, and you have to do some of them for sure, and some of them will be voluntary, not all of them. So that's the difference. You go back to, let me take